You're listening to the Current Plays Podcast, Season 3, Episode 22, The Old King's Crown. And now please welcome your hosts, Jordan and Thomas. And welcome back, our scheming listeners. This week we are talking about The Old King's Crown. Designed by Pablo Clark, with art by Pablo Clark, and published by Eerie Idle Games. This is a 1 to 4 player game that came out in 2025. Actually just hit retail the beginning of this year. It was supposed to come out in like October, and it got pushed and pushed, as they do. But it's got a weight rating of 3.61 out of 5 on Board Game Geek, which I think we've talked about this, how I think our perception is skewed, but
100%.
that seems high to me for this game.
This is one of those games that seemingly first glance, and again, if you're new, might look complex, may be complex if you're new to games. But I find as far as complex, I feel like there's a difference between depth and complexity. This has quite the depth to it, right? Maybe not complex.
Yeah.
Once you know how the flow of the game goes, it's just about the depth of your strategy, right? When to play these things, and that's where I find the where it really sits is in that kind of juicy how in depth is my strategy going to be, because you can't manage everything.
Yeah. So this is a game. It's a primarily card-based game. Where essentially you are going to put cards in 3 different regions on this board, and you're going to flip the cards over, and everyone compares their cards, and whoever has the highest value wins. I mean, boil it down, that's what it is,
That's
right?
it. So yeah, doesn't
Yeah.
sound super complex when you say it that way, right?
Yeah. But there's of course, it's not just that. Uh of course, these cards have abilities, right? Uh there are other cards and other factors and that can, add and subtract, but it's not like something like Magic where there's a ton of interaction and, you know, actions that can totally change the scenario. What I found in our game is that it was like little subtle changes. You could subtly change the outcome of a battle, or you have these like powerful abilities that you can use one time. So it's about this one battle you could change, but then you've spent that ability.
Yeah.
It's really about choosing your moment, right?
And I'll give a perfect example of that. So on the first round of the game, I had 3 of the cards in my hand, and I play them at 3 different locations. The first location to get into a battle was a card that had the ability flank on it. And so flank allowed me to either keep that card at that location to battle at that location, or move it to a different location, right? So when it came down to it, I looked at your card. You flipped your card. It was a 0. I flipped mine. It was a 5, but with the flank ability. So it was like, okay, I'm going to win this location, or I can move this card to the next location. And in the next location, I knew what card I had there, and I knew this would help me win sort of that location, right? So that second location I had in there was a card that allowed me to either retreat that card, so take it out, or add a card from my hand into that location. And then the
Yeah.
third card, it was actually it didn't have any ability, but it was a higher card, like it was like a 7, and I think a 10 is the highest that your base deck sort of comes with. So it was like when it came down, it was so interesting because in this situation, I had played those three specifically that way, and then lined up which location was going to battle first, so that I get that flank card in whatever position I decided to keep it in, right? And it was those subtle sort of manipulations on the board. You still won two combats out of the three, but I got to decide what combat I won, and it was okay because it was like I gave you two victory points and I took one victory point that turn, but it allowed me to keep the sort of second second turn position, right? And we really
Yeah.
found during the game that how powerful that second turn position really was because you got to decide sort of your tactics after the other person had decided theirs. So you have more information deciding what you're going to do. And B, you get to determine what battlefield is going to activate first. So you or all three of them, what order they'll activate in, right? So you have all the manipulation power as the second player to really make big swings. So it was one of those things that like even that little small manipulation of the battlefield put me in a great position for the next round and then the next round and then it was
Yeah.
kind of like until I could build up a big swing or something in and try and take the lead from you, right? um yeah, really
Yeah.
really cool slight, yeah.
Going last in this game, because it plays up to four. So we're saying second position because we play two players,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
going last, yeah, has a huge advantage, which I felt the first three out of the five rounds of the game because I was ahead by a little,
Yeah,
and it was so hard because, yeah, you had more information going into every battle than I did, and getting to choose like that flank ability is a perfect example because I could put down a card with flank, but if I'm not choosing the order of the combats and then that area gets chosen to go last, that flank ability is absolutely
useless.
useless.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But if you're choosing which order, then that flank ability is amazing.
Yeah, it's small little things like that, but
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. That second, like you said, three of the turns, I was in second place by a small margin,
Hmm.
and then on I think it was the third turn, I made a move and jumped into first place, and then the fourth and fifth turn, you were in the second turn position, right, the last position, and I struggled. Like it was
Yeah.
hard. There were like that fourth and fifth turn. Like you did that for the first three, and the fourth and fifth, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do here. Oh my, and I'm like
Yep.
rubbing my head and I'm sweating, and it was a tough being in that position, right? Because then like any decision you make, it's information you're giving to your opponent. So you're almost trying to like bluff a little bit on like,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, no, I don't need to protect that. I really do need to protect that. But if I convince you to like go heavier there, then maybe somewhere else you won't have the cards to do it or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So I should probably explain a little more how this game works,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there's a bunch of phases throughout each round, and they style it as like a season, like winter, like sorry, a year when you're going through the seasons. So
Which is cool.
the start of the year, you're going to draw up certain number of cards, and you start at six. And if you run out of cards in your deck, then your hand limit actually goes down. And that's a huge deal because like six cards, I was saying during our game, six cards is like just enough cards to do all of the things that you want to do,
Yeah.
as long as, there's nothing gets monkeyed with. And if
Yes. Yeah.
anything gets monkeyed with, you have to give something up in order to play a card somewhere else. And then when they called attrition, when attrition happens and your hand size limit goes down, you're short a card for something. You have to sacrifice somewhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it oh man, this game is a masterclass in design, I feel like.
it
And
really is. Yeah.
I'm already getting sidetracked, but if you can believe it, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to maybe look this up again later, but I'm pretty sure this is his first game ever.
That's wild if that's the
Yes.
case. Yeah.
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 So
Like
anyway,
honestly, they're really wild. Yeah.
so you drop your hand of cards, and then there are there's a display of four what they call kingdom cards. Now these are cards that give you abilities, change the rules of the game, like very powerful cards. And then the first thing that you're gonna do is everybody bids on these cards. So you put like you do a secret bid where you take a card from your hand, put it face down, and then whoever has the highest card gets to choose first, and then you go in strength order. And Thomas said so the cards go from 0 to 10, and there are I think 2 0 cards, and there's three
Three
different
fives.
fives.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is
Yeah.
that it?
14 cards in total. So I think, yeah, yeah,
And then, a one, a two, a three, a four, a six, a seven, an eight, and a 10.
yeah,
Or a nine and a 10.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway, so right away you see these juicy looking, like powerful cards on display, and you're like, well, I want that one. And so do you bid high? And then you're taking a high card out of your hand for later. Or you bid low, and then you might not get that card. And then on top of that, in later rounds, the card that you use to bid to buy the kingdom cards, that card is what they call occupies that kingdom card. So you're going to put the kingdom card on your board, and you're going to put that card underneath, and then it's sort of protecting that kingdom card. And if somebody else, like I said on a later round, wants that card, if they bid with a higher card than your occupying card, they can steal it from you. It's crazy. It's brilliant. I'll have to talk about later how I used an ability to pull a very powerful card out of the discard to put it on my board just to give it to you to
Yeah.
kill me with and win the game. But
And pretty much, yeah, to
yeah.
steal it and then win the game with it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So after everybody's uh, bid on these kingdom cards, then it goes to springtime. And in the springtime, you can take springtime actions. So the actions on your cards, like so your cards in your hand, the kingdom cards, all the abilities trigger during certain points of the turn. So
Yeah.
some of those abilities will trigger in the spring, and then, that's when you can do those. Then you're going to place, well, you place your herald first, right? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
supporters.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so I missed it. I missed it.
That's
So
even
after
it's yeah,
after
just another
bidding,
layer. Yeah.
yeah. So after bidding, before the springtime happens, you're going to secretly place down your cards. So one has to go in each battlefield, and there's three different battlefields. I think it's the highlands, the plains, and the lowlands. So you secretly put out your cards, and even before you do that, actually, you're going to put out a herald, which is just a token that you're going to put on one spot, and you're kind of saying, I'm going to try to win this spot, because if you
Kind
do
of.
win that
Yep.
spot, you get an extra point. But, is that what you're really going for? Or are you bluffing? And then if somebody else puts their herald in the same spot, it has huge consequences, because whoever then wins that gets to steal an influence from everyone else who has their herald in the same spot. It's brilliant. Just that little thing, just putting out your herald, you're giving this imperfect information, which is, I feel like, what this whole game is about.
Yeah.
You imperfect information, and then your opponent's saying, okay, what does that mean? Right.
And
So,
yeah, and you try to, use that imperfect information almost as a bluff sometimes. What can I do with this if I'm trying to convince my opponent that I've played a certain way? Like I said, that first round, you thought I had my 10 card in the top position. I
yeah,
knew I didn't have it there, right? So right away you were
right.
like, okay, you're gonna win that one automatically. And I'm like, at this point, I get to choose. Do I win the middle or do I win the top kind of thing, right? And it was just one of those things where it was like, depending on when you have that information and don't have that information, you can really change things slightly, make slight changes, make slight manipulations, and then change outcomes that could be, right?
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
exactly. So then springtime actions happen. Then you put out supporters on the board. And support, you have five in the game, and that's it. And whenever you use it, it goes away. Now, there are some ways to get it back, but we'll talk about that later. But, you know, again, without any monkey business, you have five, and as soon as you use them, they're gone. And there's three battlefields every round. So, and
Yeah.
you can use multiple, right? And every supporter is going to add one strength to the clash, the battle that happens in that battlefield. Then you then the next step is whoever is in last place gets to choose the order of when those or when those battles happen. Once that order is chosen, you go like one battlefield at a time. You flip over the cards, and then if those cards have daytime or nighttime abilities, those happen in this step. And there are things like we were talking about before, flank, which lets you, if you activate it, you move your card to an adjacent battlefield, but then that card is no longer in the previous battle. So, but you flip those cards and you might go, oh, I've lost this. I'm going to move him so that he's, you know, adding his value to the next battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you sacrifice the previous battle, which sometimes that's perfectly legit because you can't win every battle in this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, there's that's flank. There's ambush, which Thomas mentioned. Lets you put a card from your hand if you still have one in your hand onto the battlefield, or retreat lets you like pick up the card. And again, I'm taking this out of the battle, but now I have this as a resource for future turns or whatever. There's also then nighttime abilities, and the big one here is deadly. So one of the fives in every deck is an assassin, and
Yeah.
basically kills every other, like every opponent's cards, every other opponent's cards in that battle. But there are caveats, right? So there are some cards that are immune to that, some cards that will get discarded but not taken out of the game, which is what eliminated means. And then if you have is it a two, three, or a four? I think are out. Then the assassin card also gets eliminated. So he like kills everybody else, but then he dies, and then what
Yeah.
if there's anything left over? Then that's what it is. But so interesting that design choice in particular as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the way this game plays with those subtle manipulate. you put an assassin down in a location, and then say you have the first turn, you're the first player, so you have that thing, you do whatever actions you can, and you're going to kill your opponent's cards. Okay, you're great. Then it goes to the opponent's turn to use their daytime actions, and all of a sudden, that ambush card they have, they decide, you know what, I'm going to ambush, and I'm going to bring out one of those cards that kills the assassin, right?
Yeah.
And that's just like, oh, how do I stop that now? Well, you can't, because
Yeah.
you made your play, and I happen to have a block to the assassin in my hand, and I can bring that out now, kind of thing, right? So it was really neat. Or like, the flip side of that, if I didn't have something to answer that, it'd be like, oh no, the assassin appeared, and my big, leader 10 card is there, and I have no way of protecting that 10 card other than when your leader gets eliminated, it actually just goes to your discard,
Yeah.
specifically if it's an assassin trying to eliminate it, right? So it's got a special ability in that case, but still you have to discard your big 10, which you were banking on likely to win that you only put a 10 there to win it, obviously, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
yeah,
your
very,
10
very neat.
card has a great example of the fall abilities. So after all the battles happen, then fall abilities happen, and the on your 10 card there's rally self. So there's one card that has rally 2, I think, and
Yeah,
that means you can pick up 2 cards from the battlefield. And then the 10 has rally self, which means you can pick that up. So your 10 theoretically you should be able to bring that back to your hand every round,
yeah,
unless something like deadly sends it to your discard pile, right?
yep.
The other two big parts of fall are big parts of the game, and that's governing and journeying. So governing sends you take cards from your hand and you send them up to a special area where there are 3 different abilities. So one area will increase your rewards if you win where your herald is. So again, added pressure on where you're sticking your herald. One ability lets you build up tokens on a spot, and then if you build up enough, you can get the rewards from that spot. And the third one, I think the more popular ones, particularly
Yeah,
in our game, lets you bring your supporters back from the lost pile. So that's, where cards go to get eliminated when they get eliminated. So, you want to put cards up there. But of course, the higher level cards are the ones that are more powerful in those spots. But once they're in those spots, they're stuck there
yeah,
until somebody gets rid of them. So, and then the other one's even worse. The other one is journeying, and when you journey, you're eliminating your cards to get lore points, and the lore points are used to buy buy better cards for your deck. And some of them are just like straight up fresh abilities, basically.
yeah, yeah,
They're almost like kingdom cards, but just for your faction. And then other ones are faction specific cards that have really cool abilities on them. So and again, the higher level cards give you more journey points, but then you're eliminating them from the game. Except for a couple that have a special ability that makes so you discard them. So that's maybe where the complexity rating comes in, but
yeah. A lot of subtle things that you have to take into account, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
just yeah. So it was just a really neat experience, really fun experience too, right? Just trying to manipulate those battlefields, and then even like it felt like every decision really mattered, that you were
Yeah.
making. And if you made the wrong call, you could kind of put yourself behind a little bit. Um, but and I never felt like it was like terribly behind. You might go, "Oh, that was the wrong call," but I can make up for that somehow. So I felt like there was definitely like an ebb and flow to us playing that like you had a slight lead, then I overtook it, and then it came back. It was kind of like back and forth, and I was like, "Ooh, where's it gonna go?" And who's gonna like outplay this round kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there was like, I think round three, like I said, I made a big push and ended up winning, I think, two of the three locations, but like scored a decent amount of like victory points doing it. And then overtook the lead by a couple points, right? But then I used a bunch of my big cards, and then my next round it was a very conservative round where I was kind of like I put stuff out to try and like draw your better stuff out. And then I had an ability on my player board that allowed me to retreat 3 times during the game, right? So that round, I used all three of those retreats and
Yeah.
essentially was just like, here you go. You're winning all these combats basically, so that I can retreat. And my last round is going to be like my big round again, and hopefully to like clinch that win. And it ended up being successful. But yeah, 4 little decisions that got made throughout the game. You bringing back that powerful card with the purpose of using it,
Yeah.
and then not being able to use it when you were going to use it, and then me
Because you kept
stealing it.
retreating.
Yeah, because I kept retreating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I retreated out of the way. You couldn't use that. And then I was able to take it from you. Like small puzzle pieces that like
Well,
just fell perfectly into place.
because when I activated the ability, it was in round four, so it was like I got to do it now.
Yeah.
Uh, and when I activated it, I had my assassin card, and I had a three
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
hand. And I as soon as I picked that kingdom card, I looked because then I had to use one of those cards to occupy it. And I looked at my hand and I went, "Oh no, I have to use a three." And I'm like, and that's going to be super easy for Thomas to steal. So I have to use it this round. And then you just retreated every time. And I'm like, oh no, like this is bad. This is terrible. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
have to hope he doesn't notice it for somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
almost
yeah.
didn't, to be honest. I was looking at the top ones and I went, oh, wait a minute. There's a really good card over here that I can't deal with. I'll just take it from you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I had set myself up for the last round to have my big cards. But
yes.
they
Yeah.
were they were like strong cards. Like they were like I think I had bought an 11.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before when we said it went up to 10, that's the base deck, but I bought one of my special cards which was 11. I had my 10 and I think I had like an 8 and a 9 and a
Yeah.
5.
That's wild. Yeah.
And I chose well, maybe it was round four. I chose to govern with the 5 with the assassin because it gave me more and it let me get my supporters. And I was like, I don't know if I should do this. And in the end, I shouldn't have done it because I had all these big cards, but they didn't have any special abilities on them. So then you made your leader an
Yeah.
assassin, and
I
then you
had
took
8,
the
9, 10, 11. Yeah. 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 And then,
and then
yeah,
you
I
took that special card from me, which lets you,
make more
use it
assassins. Yeah. Yeah.
make more
Yeah.
assassins. So if I had taken like a little card, then I could have used that and your king would have, well, actually, I don't know if he would have
Yeah.
because you give him the deadly ability, but
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But he's not
again,
the
like there's all these little
assassin. Yeah.
subtleties.
Yeah. 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 Because
Oh
that's what I
man.
was I was concerned about. That I was like, yeah, if he has any sort of blocking? Am I just killing these cards? And I just thought, you know what? I have to play it this specific way because I have to draw out your big plays. Because by this time, you had this really great card that was one of the ones you bought that was also artwork on this game is phenomenal. So you had this
Oh,
like
it's so good.
spider card that was clearly like just wrecking face, could like eat creatures from your lost pile.
Yeah.
At least that's what I was picturing in my mind, and like absorb their powers, right? And so I was
Yeah.
frightened of this card, and I was like, I need him to activate that card, and not bring it around anywhere else that I'm scared he might ambush somewhere else with this card, right? So because I was able to steal that card from you, I was able to play it in, the second combat, and then encourage you to bring out the spider to eat the thing, and you won that combat. But that allowed me to win the third combat by literally 1 point, right? So when we
Yeah.
compared our battle power, I had 1 point more in that position and earned me the extra, couple of points sort of thing. That was and it
Got you the win.
got me the win. And it was such like all the small little decisions mattered so much, just for like, even to the point that last battle, I put all four of so many like small things. I put all four of my supporters in that one region. I didn't spread them out because I was
Yes.
like, I feel like I have to win this region because I had my Herald in that region. And even the decision to put my Herald in that region was, I have to place my Herald first, and I don't want you to place your Herald in the same spot because I didn't want you to take any victory points from me. And that round, I was like, I think he's going to win two locations. He's going to go up like 3 points. I'm going to win, one location. We might actually tie for
Yeah.
victory points here, right? So it was like, okay, what do I do? I'm gonna make sure I win that one because I really need that 1 point in order to tie. And then just the way things came out, it was, but yeah, placing the Herald, I really hope he doesn't challenge. So I put it on a spot that just wasn't important. It
Right,
wasn't the
right.
location that gave you two victory points, right? Which would have been, honestly, was the first one I was like, of course, yeah, go there. But then I knew then he's going to challenge me, and he's got this spider card, and I'm going to lose that location. Like, just
And I
small little
should have seen
decisions.
that. I should have seen that and challenged you anyway. Like in the end, right?
Right? Yeah, yeah.
But
Just to steal the point, right? Yeah. But then you
yeah.
might have not won in the second location, and I could have got 2 points there, right? So it was,
Yep.
yeah, each location is so neat that they have, okay, it's a single location, but each of those locations have two sort of battlefields with different bonuses, right? So yeah, you have six positions to put your Herald on. And yeah, it just came down to, I'm going to put my Herald down here because I don't think it's an ability that's at the end of the game. It was something that put cards back into your draw pile. And it was like,
Yeah.
doesn't do anything for you. So I'll put
Yeah,
it
so
here
the
to not entice you. Yeah.
the top region lets you govern and journey like an extra time that round.
Hmm.
And with active cards, so cards that are on the battlefield, versus in your hand after all the battles. So that's really powerful because now you've already used these cards, then you get to use them again.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
if you're choosing the order of the battles, like you could choose to put that one last so that all the cards are available. Um, and then the middle region, you can gain this token called the Kingdom's Favor, and that unlocks a special ability for you,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
yours was insane.
Yeah. It was
So
really good. Yeah.
your ability lets you peek at all the cards in one region, which is psycho.
during the springtime though, which was also an
Yeah.
interesting way of, I mean, yeah, you're gonna see them in the summer anyways, but yeah, it's almost that. Oh yeah, it was a good ability. It was a great ability. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because the cards are down, obviously, so that you
yes.
can peek at them. And then you do get to peek at them. But unless you've set yourself up specifically with some kind of ability that lets you manipulate the cards after, you've already put your cards where you've put your cards.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a great ability, but you have to think about how you're going to use it and play around it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was a time that I got to use it too, and I got to use it twice in one round, which was
Yeah,
phenomenal. Um,
because of a kingdom card.
yeah, but just a little bit of information that I was able to glean some of the times using those. Like there was one time I used it, and then I get this. It lets me know what your plans are for that location, right? To a degree, unless you have
Right.
some sort of shenanigans, right? And then at some point, I was able to use. I had an ability on my thing, a one-time ability that I could swap two of your cards, right? And I was like, the whole game, I didn't look at it, and I was like, I don't know when I'm going to use this. And then it was just like, you know what? This might just mess a bit with your plan. So I just used
Yeah.
it and switched the position of two of the cards because, at some point, the way I'm playing, I'm trying to line up the cards how I would want to play them. So any sort of switch in there, I might go, that kind of, messes up my plans a little, right? And
Right,
those are the
right.
things where those like little monkey wrenches, little shenanigans end up costing you extra cards to play here, and then you can't do this action and whatever, right? So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, right? Six cards. So you use a card to bid, three cards to battle, and then you want to govern and you want to journey. So that's your six cards.
Yep. Yeah.
And if so, yeah, like
I
anything that messes with that.
on my way home, I was thinking about this game too. I was driving home and I was going, you know what? I almost messed up a certain position on that last round too, because so I won the top region, and like you mentioned, it allows you to journey or govern, and you can govern with one in your hand or one on the board. I was like, whatever, I'll just take the one on the board and put it up, right? It easily could have grabbed the one in my hand, but on my drive home, I was like, had I done that, I ran the risk because if you tie in a location, you pull out another card from your hand and you check those, and whoever has the higher of those two cards wins. Had
Yep.
I done that and we tied, I had no more cards in my hand. Or I
Yeah.
would have had no more cards in my hand and I would have automatically lost, and that could have cost me the game,
Yeah,
right? That
yeah.
one decision to go, oh, it doesn't matter, whatever. And I happen to choose the right card to do it with. But yeah, that could have been, if it went that way, a deciding factor in who won the game kind of thing, right? So
For
yeah,
sure.
subtle things, you seemingly unimportant, but in such a like easy sort of package to wrap your head easy wrap your head around that, like I didn't think our um analysis paralysis was, sure, we took some time to really think, but it wasn't like overly w- wild. Like it didn't take us a crazy amount of time to play through this game. And I
Not
still
for us.
felt like yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
still felt like it felt like an experience where we had to like use our brains and make everything count kind of thing, but
Right.
without needing the 2 hour turns to do it, right? Yeah.
Because again, it's cards with a value from 1 to 10,
Mhm.
and then some of them have a small ability that are really easy to grasp, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy if this is the first game, because like all that like 1 to 10 cards, small subtle abilities, little manipulations like that. What a brilliant way of doing things.
Hmm.
So cool. I kind of a quick thought in here. We play two players. In a four-player game, I feel like it'd be much more chaotic,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm not sure if I would enjoy it as much as the two-player. Because at least in the two-player, I felt like my manipulations kind of like could work a bit. In a four, you're just everyone's doing things, you know. I feel like, oh, no.
I really want to try it at four
Oh, for sure.
players.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like two players, you're trying to get into the mind of your opponent and what are they going for? What can I do to get around it? You can't do that with three other people,
Yeah.
right?
Take
Like,
the assassin. Like you throw the assassin down against one person, okay. They might have, they might not. Against three other people, someone's likely going to have someone that kills the assassin on that spot,
right.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
No. Higher
Because
chance of that, right?
you draw a hand of six cards, like you might draw nothing but low cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, then your opponent plays an assassin and you've played a low card just because that's what you had. But
Yeah, for sure.
anyway,
Yeah. I really like this one. It was a great game. Surprised that you know when I saw it set up on the table, I didn't even know you picked up this game.
yeah,
And it's
I kept it secret.
it's really hard to find this game too. So when I saw it on there, it was like, oh my goodness, right? Yeah. So
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. But wow, I've had a ton of fun. So much fun.
The Atoma's really smart too. We don't have time to get into it, but it really leans into that like imperfect information. Like it gives you like hints on the front of the card as to what it's going to
Mm,
prioritize. But then like 20% of those cards, it's lying and it
that's
totally
cool.
prioritizes something different.
Yeah.
It's so clever. Yeah, it's really good. I can't say enough good things about this game. It was so much fun and the artwork is
Oh,
unbelievable. It's so good and the production is fantastic.
and to do both the design and the artwork. Oof. Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
double threat.
Yeah. So good. Yeah.
Yeah, so Pablo Clark, well done.
Well
Kudos.
done.
And that wraps up another episode of the Current Plays podcast. Check us out next week on YouTube or your favorite podcast provider. But until then, good gaming and good night.
Good night, folks.